I already started.
You're already started. Okay, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do basic paper mache on this mask. You can see it already has lots of depth. If you want the mouth to be open, you should be able to actually like open and close it. Make sure your tape is really tucked in around any details. Eyeballs, I take them out, I set them aside. Ears, take them off and set them aside for paper mache. For clay, you would be leaving them intact, probably. Okay, so this is set. Now, plastic bags, these really, really thin plastic bags that I bought just for this, because what you want to do is not just put it in there and stretch it tight. That won't work at all. You have to take it and tuck it in all of your details. Because we need to be able to feel underneath that bag where everything is. If your mask is a little big like this one is, go ahead and put a second bag over the other way and tuck it in. And I have to get the air out of it. It all kind of puffs up. If it's kind of being a pain, you can put a little bit of tape across the back if you want. I'm just going to try to tuck it in here and do it without the tape. Because sometimes when I do the tape on it, it'll stretch it and it'll pop out of all my details. All right, so I still can feel everything I need to feel. Then we are going to use strips of paper. So, paper has a grain to it. If you go to tear a big old strip of paper and it's not tearing straight, like that, you got the grain going in the wrong direction. Try tearing it in the other way and magically it'll tear straighter. It's just, I mean, it's wood, right? It's like a log that has a grain to it. So I want a bunch of strips ready to go because I'm about to get my hands in the paper mache glue and I don't want to make a mess of all this. Also, please note that I have newspaper here because this is a drippy, runny mess when you do it. So I have a bucket of paper mache, but for you guys, I will have some bowls of it to pour it in for your tables. But for now, I'm just going to dip it in the bucket. So I have a strip. I start out with big strips of paper, and then I work to smaller and smaller as I get to the details. So I just dip it in there real quick, and then I use my first 2 fingers to squeegee it off. Like that. Now, I'm just going to kind of start like I had you start on the newspaper with the tape, and I'm just going to go around the outside bottom and try to get this to hold itself together. So, if you don't squeegee the glue off, squeegee is a technical term, right? If you don't do that, you're going to make a big old runny, drippy mess that will not dry well, okay? So you really have to do this. Now, you have to get the pressure on your fingers right. If I squeeze too hard, it's just going to tear it off. Okay, and I'm just going in an orderly fashion all the way around the side. I'm almost back to the beginning there. Squeegee, squeegee. And in a second, I'm going to show you what happens if I don't use those first 2 fingers, but a lot of people will try to use the finger and thumb. It doesn't work so well. So squeegeeing like this works well. When I do that, it misses that whole area. And I can even tear it, smaller, make it really fit. So now that I've gone around there, I'm just going to kind of press it again into the details. Totally okay if this rips a little bit. You're going to be doing a bare minimum of 3 layers of paper over it. Now I'm going to come across the nose and I'm going to make sure this newspaper tucks into the eye sockets. Tuck it in. And the nice thing is, as you start doing these layers, it's going to kind of start to weigh your bag down. So it becomes a little bit easier to control it. You want to overlap the layers a lot. If you do one there and one next to it, you're going to end up with gaps So you want to overlap, I would say, by at least like, I don't know, half an inch, something like that. And I can really start squishing it around the details. Sometimes if I have plenty of it on my hand, I won't even dip it in the bucket. I'll just go ahead and, bless you, and put it right on the strip for my hand, right? And that'll kind of clean it up. Do the same if you end up getting puddles, right? Pick them up with your strips. So you can start to see that I'm getting, you know, the side covered there. Make really sure that you are pushing around all of your little details as much as possible. Once you lose them, it's really hard to get them back later. Any quick specific questions on that so far? All right, so that's how you start it. Thank you so much. All right, that's what you do. Or you roll out a giant mass of clay, right? And run it through the slab roller, slightly smaller than a 1/4 inch thick, and then drape it over it like we showed last time. Thank you. Oh yeah, it's over.